email chain, Director Diaz indicated that at this point, the FAA is still considering data that we submitted to them over 1 year ago. That's what Director Diaz submitted to me a couple of days ago. So there has been a submission on behalf of the city. My question, Jennifer.
I have not seen the audit, but what I will say from the auditor's perspective, and that is an FAA audit, one, it is, I think what I've seen is kind of rare to go this long, but if it has not been released as a final in the draft, that is the actual language that we use, and the city is, the airport's responding to the findings. But I think in that case, if the person doing the audit has not released it as a final draft, which in this case was probably going to be the FAA, that would be the issue there.
How is it, you've been in this seat, Comptroller Green, how is it that, in your view, that a city employee can see and respond on behalf of the city, but as city officials, we don't know what response was submitted on our behalf?
From my perspective, obviously, as the independent controller, I do that all the time. Because we don't release it until it's in its final draft. But I think in this situation, it obviously needs to be, at least you should be aware of the findings so far. Because it still may not be technically an audit until it's actually finalized. And I'm not defending them, but you do deserve to see what's in the audit.
Okay, and we have 4 items on the agenda today. I don't know if the audit has any implication concerning these items or not. So I'm waiting to see the audit so I can determine whether I support these items on the agenda today as it relates to the airport. Director Dow, your response, please.
And it was on, have I seen it? Yes, I've seen the audit. There were.
But you say yes, you've seen it?
Yes, I've seen it.
May I ask you, when did you see it?
I've seen it over the course of time. It's been an ongoing
Like
investigation by the FAA, yes.
Okay, but we're not privy to it. Council members, we can't see that kind of stuff.
No, I don't know. I'm not, it's not my document, can I say
Well, your
that?
pay grade.
Yeah, it's below my pay grade.
Okay.
So,
let me just say this and I'll stand down. Something's broken about our process, colleagues. If staff people can see information on audits, respond on the city's behalf, and we haven't seen it, something is wrong, and this council member will continue to voice his concerns when we don't have transparency and we don't have disclosure as it relates to what happens in the city of Houston. I will continue to try to get access to this audit by whatever means I can get to. Mr. Feldman, I yield my 30-second left.
My understanding is that, again, Director Diaz did indicate that he's willing to meet with you to discuss the audit. And per the FAA, if they deem that it's not, I don't know the right terminology, Attorney Feldman, but if they're okay releasing it and they're final, if it's final, then they'll release the actual report to you, but they're inquiring to see if the FAA.
Mayor, with all due respect, here's my response. If a staff person for the city of Houston can see it and respond to it on behalf of the city of Houston, and we are city officials and we haven't seen it, I don't want him to come and talk to me about it. He did extend that courtesy. You know, some people play golf, some watch football, basketball. I read. I like to read. I want to read it, okay? Thank you.
There's not been a response by a staff person, council member. This is a legal matter. There have been, it was essentially an investigation. They call it an audit, but for all practical purposes, it's an investigation in progress. They put out a draft for purposes of negotiation. It's not intended to be a final. It's saying these are issues that we have questions about. And we have literally been negotiating with them over a period of years.
Mr. Feldman, why can't we know that as city officials, you say?
Like any negotiation, would you expect that we would sit down and say, okay, this is what we are negotiating with the DOJ over before there's anything actually to report in terms of a proposal?
Well, this is an audit, investigation, or just concerns? If the FAA flags activities for the city of Houston, a major airport, I think city officials ought to know that as an ongoing
And I have no difficulty whatsoever with the briefing. It's one of the problems with no executive session. That's exactly what would have happened had there been an executive session. I have no problems with the briefing of individual council members. I do have a problem, though, with the release of a document that the government considers to be confidential.
Okay, so on one hand, you said there's not been a response, and now you're saying that you have a problem releasing a document. So there is a document. Are you stating that for the record?
Of course there's a document. That's what's called that's what the parties were working on. But it's a matter in progress.
Okay, 4 years in progress.
The FAA moves very, very
So
slowly.
I'm not talking about the FAA, I'm talking about this administration's
No,
decision.
the FAA, they're the ones holding the cards. They move very, very slowly. With some of the information, they respond. They change their position. It's like any other form of negotiation with the federal government. It takes a while.
Mayor, I'm going to move on because I don't want to task it. I think I made my point. Mario Diaz does not work for the FAA. He works for Mayor Anise Parker. And what we have access to and doesn't have access to is controlled by Mayor Parker and this administration. I think it's unconscionable that this audit has been out there for 4 years and Diaz, per his own email, responded to it, at least parts of it, over a year ago. And we don't know what response he submitted to the FAA on behalf of the city, and we're city officials. I stand down. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Sardi.
Thank you. I would